winter dog boot review for you, and it's the Ruffwear Polar Trex dog boots. These are a nice high quality winter dog boot with a rubber sole. So that's a little bit different than the other two dog boots that we've reviewed already, the Muttlux and the dogbooties.com boots. The Muttlux have that leather sole, the dogbooties.com are just fabric. But this Polar Trex is a Vibram Ice Trek technology on the sole, and so it's supposed to help reduce that slipping and sliding that dogs can struggle with when they're wearing dog boots on icy, snowy conditions. And honestly, it works pretty well. It's not as good as if Glia was bare paw. She does better if she can, kind of flex her paw and use her claws to get traction on the ice. But this was definitely an improvement over the other two dog boots when it comes to traction. The other nice features with this dog boot is that it has a nice waterproof fabric here. This is a spandex polyester fabric there, and then a spandex gaiter, and the gaiter is supposed to help reduce snow and things like that from getting into the Velcro fastener at the top of the boot. So you can see this second boot, I have it folded down. So I'm just going to walk a little closer so you can see both of these dog boots. So there's the front of them, and then here's the back and the sole of these. So all in all, we've been pretty happy with these dog boots out on the trail. We took them out for just a couple excursions so far. Most of our snow is starting to melt, so we haven't had a chance to get Glia into the deep snow with them. But they've stayed on really well in the shallow snow and the icy conditions. And I really do have to unhook this fastener here to have any hope of getting the dog boot off of Glia. So they've been very nice and secure. They do take a little bit more getting used to for the dog. So with the harder sole, it just doesn't feel quite as natural on their paws. And so Glia, when I tried them on in the house for the first time, I put one of these on one of her front paws and one of the really thin, light dog booties on the other front paw. And she immediately went to take this one off, and she left the dog booty alone. And so it is a little bit more foreign feeling to the dog's paw. And especially for smaller dogs who don't have as much weight, the stiff sole can be a little bit hard to bend. So you can see me bend it here. It is bendable, but it's kind of firm and stiff. The rest of the boot is more bendy, but the fastener here is also a little bit thick. So you can see this fastener, as it gets snugged and tightened down, is a little bit thick for small legs. When you put it on, it does expand pretty good and open, and then this part here will fold in on itself as you get it nice and snug. So that's how they secure. Once Glia was out on the trail, she did a better job with them on. It took her a little bit to figure out how to move in it, so she does kind of pick her foot up and high step a little bit more. And you can see some of that in the video clips that we've included in this video, that her paw just comes up and over a little bit more than what you would see if she was in the Muttlux or the dog booties. So I'll take a couple seconds here to show you a clip of her trotting really. She's not running while she's on leash, and she is leashed while we hike. So you'll see her walking and trotting, and she's in the Polar Trex boots, and then versus the dog booties and versus the Muttlux. And that's kind of how she moves in each of them, and some she's a little more natural than others. The dog booties are the ones that she can have the most natural movement in, and I see her make the least amount of adjustments. Also, when I started her in these Polar Trex boots, I did notice her trip over the toe a couple times. She just didn't seem to feel her feet in where they were quite as well in these. But the benefit of having the thicker sole is it's more protection. So if you're on a more abrasive surface, this type of dog boot is going to provide more protection against the terrain. This is made to just be used in the winter. If you are looking for a high protection boot for year-round use, we recommend Ruffwear's other boots. So I think it's a Grip Trex and maybe it's Summit Trex. They're all available on their website, and I have a link below that'll take you to ruffwear.com, and you can look through their boot selection there. So a little bit more getting used to these, but overall they are a nice high quality boot. They're probably a boot that we're not going to bring along as a in case of emergency boot. They don't pack down quite as well, although they do fit very nicely in those switchback pockets, that new harness that we just got from Ruffwear, so that's great. But they're just not quite as small and packable. We're really going to be using these mostly on days where we are hiking terrain that's really icy, especially where I need her to be able to jump up and over things while she's wearing dog boots. And so that's what these are going to be used for us. The other thing that Ruffwear makes to go with these boots are these dog socks. So we got a set of the Barkin' Boots dog socks to go with these boots. The socks are supposed to help the boot stay on a little bit better, and every time that I've had Glia in the Polar Trex, I have had this sock on underneath, so that might be helping some of the security and preventing it from slipping. But the main feature, the main reason we got the socks for Glia is that I've heard reports that the Polar Trex boots can rub on dogs' front dew claws. Glia has front dew claws, and so I was worried that since this fastener secures really close to and over those dew claws, I was worried about rubbing and friction. And there's a little bit of like seam lining inside of these. So I'd recommend getting the socks. The socks go on really nice and easy. It's been a good addition for us, and I might even use these underneath some of her other booties and boots, just for extra insulation and protection for her paw as we hike. But they come in sets of 4, and I think it was $14.95 when I purchased them. So they're not too expensive, especially compared to the cost of the boots. These are a little bit of a higher end item. A set of 2 right now is around $50. Prices can change over the years, but right now they're about $50 for 2 of them. When you size them, you're going to measure both your dog's front feet and back feet, because most dogs have larger front feet than they do back feet. And so to size them and get them measured, what I do is I have Glia stand on a piece of paper and I mark on both sides of her paw. These are measured by width. And Glia is about 2 1/4 width on her front paw.
Good weight. Good weight. Free.
And so I only got 1 pair so far. I got a pair for her front paws. We're going to try them out, make sure we like them a lot before we invest in a set for her rear paws. These will fit on her rear paws too, but I have them measured for her front paw. So you can see in that little video clip how we measure for the sizing of these. There are 8 sizes of the Polar Trex dog boots. So they go from 1.5 inches to 3.25 inches. I have heard some reports that with smaller they get, the more this stiff fastener gets a little bit difficult to tightly secure around your dog's ankle, so to speak, or wrist, depending on if it's the front or back leg. So just use caution if you're getting these for a small dog. There's a website, Robin Ventures, that I really like to look at when I'm buying things for Sasha, who's a little bit smaller. She's my 12, 13 pound Cavalier mix. And so she has a great written review on the Polar Trex that you can look into if you're interested in getting this for a smaller dog. But works really well for Glia. I have no problem with the bulkiness of the fastener. And again, she's size 2 1/4 is what I have in front of me. Yeah. So overall, we're happy with these dog boots. We will likely be using them in slippery, icy conditions for a little bit of extra traction. We really like the addition of the little socks. They stay on really nice. They're fairly easy to apply. These boots have stayed on well. And I guess as we talk about applying or putting her feet into socks and boots, I did do a little bit of a test timing how long it took me to put the various boots on. The boots themselves take about the same length of time as putting on the fleece-lined muttlucks. Both of those are around 30 seconds or so per paw to put a boot on. The sock itself is pretty quick and easy. It only takes about 12 to 13 seconds to put on a sock. And then we also put on the dog booties to kind of compare. The dog booties go on just even a little faster than the sock. They only took about 11 seconds to put on. So all in all, a little bit slow to put on. You might want to put these on before you leave the house or the car while you have a little bit more warmth for your hands to put them on, because it can take a couple minutes to get these all the way on your dog. But again, they're going to be great for traction. They're very high quality. Your dog may take a little bit longer to get used to them, but if you're looking for something for slippery surfaces with extra added protection and a good boot that's going to stay on, consider these Ruffwear Polar Trex, because they're really nice, high quality, and an overall great dog boot. Thanks for listening to our review today, and check out some of our other dog winter boot reviews. All right, happy hiking, everyone.